Yeah.
Do it, yeah, bitch.
I said it, bitch.
You do it better than me.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, in preparation for this show, we watched your documentary, Flynn.
Yeah, it was an amazing movie.
That was
Appreciate
an
that.
eye-opening experience.
Yeah, everything made sense. Like, I remember what happened on January 6th, the debacle. That that was like that was probably one of the worst mistakes Trump ever made during his presidency. And I seen some things that didn't make a lot of sense to me. Like I saw Pence and people was holding up signs saying "Hang Mike Pence."
Yeah,
I was
hang
like,
Mike
wow,
Pence.
these guys are evil and mean.
What's going on?
What's going on? And then after I saw your documentary,
okay,
everything
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, why are they saying that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes to light. I mean, yeah. So, first of all, the documentary, it's called Flynn, Deliver the Truth, Whatever the Cost. And I won't get into the weeds of getting that thing so I could put it out publicly and because I call out a lot of people. I'm calling out
you
the
did.
President of the United States of America,
Yeah.
calling out the Vice President of the United States of America, current and past. And I call out other people who are some serious people in the world of politics, of course, and where we're at today in this country. So the story is really I think it's an inspiring story of survival. People that watch it, and it's been watched quite a bit, which I really am humbled by. It's so thankful for guys like you to watch it and talk about it here, and it's great being in studio with you all. Here.
General, I think this movie not only Republicans should
Yeah.
watch. I think every American, regardless of your
Yeah.
political ideology, everybody should see that movie.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things that you learn in the movie is that my family, we grew up in a big family. My father was a sergeant in the Army, World War II in Korea, and very small house, very tight knit family,
And
we
Kennedy Democrats.
and we were Democrats,
Right.
And I, like I say in the film, I went into the White House as a Democrat.
Right.
I was looked at, vetted before the Republican convention of 2016 as one of the final four candidates for vice president as a Democrat.
That's
like
unheard of.
No, like I say in the movie, because I didn't give a shit about politics. I cared about the country, and I saw that the country was going in a direction that frankly, and I just felt like Trump was the guy. I felt like we were coming off the rails, and so Trump was the guy to get us back on the rails. But what people in this country have to understand is that in order for us to stay on the rails, because he's one man, he's going to be here for only a short period of time.
Right.
In terms of sort of the historical dimensions, and we're going to need to come together, and that's why, as a former Democrat, I mean, I moved and I changed parties, but that's Mox Nix. My attitude has not changed.
You haven't changed.
And I haven't changed one bit. So the movie really it talks about, and it takes the viewers back in time, because the first probably third to a half of the movie gets into a little bit of my military backgrounds and experiences and some of the reasons why I got to where I got,
Right.
and this idea about endless wars. And endless wars, where I raised the idea, we show Eisenhower, President Eisenhower giving the warning. He talks about that. We talk about that in the film. And then we talk about the assassinations of the 1960s, both Kennedy's brothers, right? John and Robert, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King.
Right.
And I really do point to our government.
Right.
So I don't point to Lee Harvey Oswald, right? I mean, I point to our government and the fact that if you even back then, if you took on elements of the government, those elements, in this case, the CIA, was going to come after you. And and certainly the FBI too. I think in the realm of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. So then we lay this out, and I won't get into too much of the details, because I do believe when people see it, you can think people can think what they want about me, but when you see it, you're going to be blown away by, and most people that come to me, like we just came up out of California here to visit you guys. We had, 450, 500 people. And universally, they come up to me and they say, I followed your story, but I just didn't know. I didn't realize it was
Right.
it was this bad.
Exactly how I felt.
Yeah. I mean, because you guys probably paid attention to what was happening, and and a lot of people did, and they thought, they got this headline, that headline. But we now are in this world of and I describe it a bit in the movie, this idea of narrative assassination or assassination by narrative. Although we now have moved back to physical assassination. The shot, or shots that were just taken at President Trump here recently. So we're in this world right now, and the way that we sort of, me as a vessel to convey this message of the challenges that our nation faces, we can sort of fight through this, and we can survive this messy situation, this messy period of history that we're in, if we come together.
Right.
And I do believe, that we have to drive out this darkness that exists over certainly the United States of America. I believe it's more universal. It's more global.
Right.
Because there is a global alliance that has formed against the United States of America. But there is a darkness. There's an evil that permeates certainly the political system of our country. I mean, it's so corrupt.
Yeah.
So corrupt.
Let me say this. Like, I thought what was happening to Trump was like an anomaly, the way he's been politically persecuted. But in your movie, it shows this has been going on for decades. Like, you speak of those assassinations with Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, JFK, RFK. I mean, was it RFK or JFK?
Both of them, JFK and RFK.
Yeah, it was all based around the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
You think?
So in the late 50s, and Eisenhower, became the president. He was the president for 8 years, 2 terms. Fascinating story about Eisenhower and the people that were around him, and how the CIA came and morphed from OSS into the CIA, and then there was a takeover of the government to a degree. I mean, I'm generalizing here a little bit, but maybe because I'm a general, but I'm just when we look at that. So Eisenhower, I think it was like 3 days before he gave up power of the presidency. In his final speech, he gave this sort of dire warning. It wasn't if you read the whole speech, there's some optimism there, but it was this dire warning about this military-industrial complex. And at that time, I think it was 61 or 62, at that time, the complex was not that developed. It began, and it was starting to really take shape and grab hold of the government, but it wasn't that developed. Now, when we look at what, we all kind of woke up here in the last couple of years and said, oh my God, what the heck is going on here? And now that military-industrial complex now has other elements, other arms, if you will, or other appendages. And it's like, there's a security state complex, and that's the growth of the intelligence community, which I'm very familiar with. And that really came out of 9/11. So, on the 10th of September of 2001, the government was probably 1/5 the size it is now, and it grew by 5 times since 9/11. I mean, it's just incredible growth. One of those areas of growth was the intelligence community. So now we have 17, agencies of the intelligence community.
Wow.
I mean, it's like you walk, you can't, swing a dead cat, right, and not hit one of them. And so what they've done is they are like, I don't know, they're like a cancer that has bled or grown into our entire government structure.
Look, everybody, inflation is out of control, and this problem is only going to get worse.
The value of silver and gold has been steadily rising, while the value of the American dollar has been falling.
PurpleBar.com is changing the game, making it easy for all of us to protect our financial futures. The bars are perforated so they can easily break apart and can be conveniently exchanged. Go to PurpleBar.com and use promo code Hodgetwins, and you get 5% off gold bars. And you get 10% off silver bars. Yeah.